Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Christine Innes. I'm delighted to have the most amazing, truly inspirational woman joining me. Amanda, welcome, beautiful.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so delighted that you are here and just to have some time to actually sit down and chat with you. I've got so many questions that I want to ask you, but before we do, I'm going to hand over to you just to quickly introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll dive into some beautiful questions.
Awesome, thank you. Well, my name is Amanda Heel. I'm from Canberra, Australia, and I've been totally blind since birth, and I'm a resilience speaker. I help business leaders and their teams build their resilience and overcome uncertainty by increasing their courage.
Yeah. And I think right now it's so needed, like for leaders, I know working in corporate, that, having the resilience, but the courage just to be who you are and be such an individual as well, opposed to, I guess, following others or, trying to emulate other people as well. So I think what you're doing is so needed right now in the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And, obviously, like your story, it really struck with me because, everybody has ups and downs in life. But what I loved about your story is the fact that it's not you holding you back, that you're really using it and, making such a huge difference in the world, but shining the light for other people to let them know what is possible. So I just want to say thank you so much because I find it truly inspirational.
Oh, thank you. That makes my heart sing because I believe my life's purpose is to inspire and encourage others. So if that's working, then great.
It definitely is. It is. And I think, as people are starting to, I guess with COVID and, we've all had to go through either lockdowns and, to different degrees, depending on where we're based in the world, we've had to do a lot of assessments on ourselves. And I guess is that something that you're seeing now even more, like when you're going out and doing your speaking and you're talking to, corporate groups, that people are really reassessing their life and also themselves?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, we face more uncertainty today than most of us have in our lifetimes. And so it's definitely, many of us are, myself included, reassessing and just doing a bit of a self-check to make sure that, things are as they should be and just tweaking here and there. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some of the key sort of messages that when you go and speak to corporate, obviously I know it's about resilience, but I mean, you talk quite a fair bit when you wrote for us. And what I loved was the fact that you're using the power of your story.
Yes.
And bringing that in. And I am such a big believer of that. I feel that when you own your story, you then get to change the direction that you want to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Yes, that is true. I do use my stories from my life and the lives of other people to illustrate my points. I've got a five-step methodology, which spells out the word focus. And so the first step is to fix your eyes on the prize, not the problem. Then you can optimize your goals for outstanding results. Then you can connect with your conviction for greater consistency in performance. Then you upgrade your courage for unbelievable results. And then finally, you see your success by putting your courage into action.
Oh, I love it. I got goosebumps by that. Like it's, it is amazing because, so many of us are, in the world of social media, in, just life itself, we get so caught up. But when we can step back and like break it down with what you've just said, we can take those steps and literally transform every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what are some of the key things that you're finding, over your career that has been some of the big changes within corporate or even just, as individuals as we're assessing life?
I think people are becoming much more conscious of work-life balance. They're becoming much more conscious of what their work means to them. You know, does it light them up? Does it fulfill them? I think lockdown has really, and working from home has really given people that opportunity to kind of reassess those things. And I've read that, you know, a lot of people are leaving their corporate jobs because they're looking for something more fulfilling.
Mm,
And that
absolutely.
leads me into, I've actually written a book about this, if I may
Oh, please.
speak on that
Yes,
briefly.
absolutely.
It's this book, Seeing by Vision, Not by Sight, and it is available in all the usual places, and also on my website. And it is a book which enables you to go through the steps of discovering your life's purpose.
Mm. And I feel that, you know, not to sound so spiritual or, you know, woo-woo, which I know a lot of my listeners will get with me, but we are becoming quite awakened. We are actually starting to realize that, you know, we don't have to follow the pathway as what even what my parents had thought. You know, you go to school, you get a good job, and then you have fun when you retire. Life should be about having fun. It should be about that balance, and, you know, really actually focusing on the good stuff as well.
Absolutely. And that's what you get when you live out your life's purpose, when you discover it and live it out. And if you can do that as your career, then that's even better. Like, as I said earlier, I believe my life's purpose is to inspire and encourage others. And, you know, that's what gets me up in the morning. I woke up this morning, it's like, yay, I've got an interview. Yay, I can put my message out to some more people. Or, yay, I get to speak, or, you know, whatever it is, write a blog post, write an article. And that's what lights me up. That's what made me want to get better from COVID, which I've just had. You know, I wanted to get back to work and doing those sorts of things rather than, oh gosh, I have to go to work again and do this thing that I don't really enjoy. But you don't have to live out your life's purpose as your career. That's just the optimal. You can, like the example I love to give is, if you love animals, say, and you know, don't want to or can't retrain as, say, a vet or a vet nurse, you know, perhaps you can work as a volunteer at an animal shelter on the weekends or something. So you can live it out in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of, you know, the key messages that I loved about your story is the fact that, you know, it's not about, you know, working for yourself. Like I know a lot of people go, oh, you know, I want to have my own business, but it really is following your heart, your passion,
It is.
and, you know, every day doing something that you absolutely love. Because I think that we get so caught up in just the rhythm of life as such, whereas we need to fill our cup up. And if doing something that you love is your job, then you're filling your cup up every single day as well.
Absolutely. It's just the best way to live. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And what's next for you? Like, you've written a book, you speak at, you know, corporate places. Like, what is next for Amanda?
Well, I guess building my speaking career, because very briefly, my journey was that I worked as a lawyer for 17 years as a government lawyer, and then I was made redundant. And then I sold skincare for a while because I thought that network marketing might be an easy thing to do. So as I say in my talks, I jumped into selling skincare like a woman desperately trying to run away from her past, which wasn't necessarily the right thing to do. But that was when I discovered personal development, and I retrained as a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach, and thought I wanted to be a career coach, and that wasn't going so well. So I thought that maybe a life coach would be better, and that did go better. And then I had a bit of an epiphany at a conference in 2020 when I heard this almost audible voice in my head saying, speak, I told you to speak, now speak. And it's like, okay. So I decided to pivot into speaking, and of course then COVID hit. So I haven't been able to do enough of that for my liking. So what's next for me is building my speaking career, getting out there and speaking to more people virtually and face to face. And yeah, that's really what I want to do, is more speaking. So
Oh, I
if you
think
want
it's
me to
amazing.
speak, then
Yes.
reach out.
Absolutely. What has been one of the obviously coming from a corporate career to, going into business for yourself, what has been some of the biggest learning lessons personally for you?
The buck stops with me.
Yeah.
And, if it's different in a job, you've always got someone above you, unless you're running, the company director or something, you've always got someone above you. And to turn to ask advice of, to, help if something goes wrong, to do the work if you get sick. But, if as a sole trader, if I don't do the work, it doesn't get done. And so that was the first big lesson. And the second big lesson is that what goes on in my head can often be the biggest obstacle. 'Cause when I was going to write my book, the voices in my head were going, well, who's going to read your book? You're no one special. Only special people write books. What are you doing writing a book and getting into speaking? Who's going to listen to what you've got to say? They'll just laugh at you and go, oh, that's nothing special. So the voices in your head can often be the biggest obstacle to going forward, rather than other people or stuff. So I had to do a lot of work to overcome my own negative beliefs and my own self-doubts, and still do.
I think it's a daily thing. I always say to people that if you go into business for yourself, it's the biggest personal development that you'll ever go through.
Oh, heck yeah.
You will learn so much about yourself,
Mm.
In that aspect. I talk a lot about when I know from personal point of view, is that when I left corporate, I found that I was very much attached to that corporate identity,
Yes.
and to find who was the real Christine. Did you go through something similar?
Oh my gosh, yes. I when I left my legal career, I lost my identity. I mean, I was Amanda Hill, the legislative drafter, the lawyer. And then it's like, well, what am I now? A lipstick lady? I don't know. And then when I stopped selling skincare, it's like, well, what do I call myself? Am I a life coach? Am I a career coach? And now I know that whatever my identity is, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm living out my life's purpose, as long as I'm inspiring and encouraging others, it doesn't matter whether I'm doing that as a blogger. It doesn't matter whether I'm an author, whether I'm a resilience speaker, whether I'm a coach. I'm doing that thing that I've been put on this earth to do. And that's what really matters. So your identity is just a secondary thing.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because it took a long time for me to sort of unravel all of that and to find out who I was. And I love, how you keep saying about the life purpose, because I think sometimes that, those ups and downs that we go through in life actually leads us to where we're meant to be.
Oh, it does.
It's a crazy, beautiful thing. Like,
Yeah.
the worst possible thing that could happen, but then that leads us to a beautiful moment with it. Do you feel still, even now, that there's something more within you that is coming? Because I get that
Always.
feeling from you. I get that there's
Always.
something brewing in you. It's just this energy that I'm getting from you, that there's something really beautiful and big about to bloom from you.
Yes, I do feel that too. I don't know what that is, but for a couple of years now, I felt like I've been right on the edge of something, right, just teetering right on the edge.
Yeah.
And I just had to take that step or grab hold of that opportunity, and I'll be off
Yeah. Yeah.
into the great unknown.
Yeah. And
The
it's a
wonderful
beautiful
great
journey.
unknown. Yes, it is.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who's listening right now that is thinking that they're unfulfilled, or they're just not sure where they're going in life? What piece of advice would you give them?
Gosh, where do I start? Give yourself time to really work out first what it is that is wrong. Because if you're feeling unfulfilled, it could just be you're in the wrong environment. Perhaps you're in the right job, but you're in the wrong environment. I coached a lady who we discovered her life's purpose was to care, serve, and protect. And the problem was she was in a policy area where she really needed to be in a practical area. And so it could be work out whether it's your environment that's wrong or your actual what you're actually doing from day to day. And then if it's is actually your job, then work out, you know, how you can leave that job and what you need to go to. And there's lots of preparation. You need to do that. Like I read somewhere that most people only have like 2 months of savings. It's not a good time to leave your career if you only have 2 months worth of savings. You need to have enough to live on for, say, 6 months, maybe even a year. I mean, it's taken me a long time to get into what I'm doing now, and even now I'm not earning, you know, I haven't made up the income that I was earning in my 9 to 5. But that's okay, because I had, you know, redundancy payments and things like that, which helped me. But, you know, cover yourself financially, and then, you know, go on a journey if you need to. Give yourself that time to work out what it is that does fulfill you, and how you can do that either as a job or as a hobby to sort of keep you top up your tank on the weekends, to give you enough to go off and then do your 9 to 5, which pays the bills.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of my book in a nutshell. But there's an awful lot more to it, and the book actually has exercises which you can go through to take you on that journey. It's a very interactive book. In fact, in the preface, in the introduction, I say, look, write in the book. Which is normally one thing I hate, because I remember in the old days when I used to borrow books from the library and I used to try and scan them on a document scanner to read them, and these terrible people had written in them and underlined them and highlighted things, and it's like, it's not your book to deface. Whereas, you know, this one is.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think that the more practical we make life as well, do you find that we overcomplicate things a lot?
Definitely. Absolutely. I mean, you were saying before that life has changed. I mean, my parents are in their, or my mum's 89 now. My dad's passed away a few years ago, but they always said, you know, a government job is a job for life. You know, if you can get into a government job, you're safe. I mean, hello. No, most, you know, quite a, you know, substantial part of the public service now, I think, is under contract. And those contracts can end at any time. You can be made redundant during a job freeze, like I was, and there are no jobs to go to. So, you know, life has changed, and so we have to kind of move with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I absolutely love what you're doing. I think you are truly inspirational, and I'm so grateful that you shared your story with us and also being here with us. We're going to pop all the links below where people can reach out to you, Amanda. So I just want to say thank you, beautiful, for being here today.
Oh, thank you. If I could just clarify, my speaker website, if you want to reach out to me as a speaker, is the amandaheal.com.au site. My book is, and everything else is, the Purpose, Vision, Future.
Yeah, we're going to put both of those below so people can reach out. And honestly, if you are sitting there in corporate and you need an inspirational speaker, reach out to Amanda. She truly is amazing. Got a beautiful story to share. And honestly, I think resilience is something that we all need to learn. And I wish that we were teaching this to children now in schools. So thank you so much for being here, beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for watching this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. If you have liked it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you reach out to Amanda by following the clicks below. And remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.